Hello YouTube, this is the Broke Gamer, and welcome back to the channel. And for this small video I thought I'd highlight a couple of unappreciated PlayStation 4 gems which I've truly enjoyed. That the consensus is not the same with other gamers or gaming journalists. They've written their articles, their puff pieces and reviews. I really think that these will make fine additions for your collection. I have 5 games here, or well 6 because I'm including a sequel, but let's get started. First game I wish to highlight, Knack and its sequel, Knack 2. Very charming games in their own right. So with the first game that I've played, I bought it on a whim, thoroughly enjoyed it. The platforming, the story is a little bit simplistic, but it oozed that original charm that Crash Bandicoot had for the PlayStation 1. I felt a lot of that coming from this video game here. So much so that when I completed the game, I actually annoyed my wife, saying that we should try and find the sequel. Let's go out and go game hunting just to get the second game. Truly fun games. I really think that these are underrated. You'll find them for a couple of bucks online or maybe in the wild. And yeah, I really do think that these games are not long to complete. They'll take about maybe a weekend or a day or so, but nonetheless fun little platformers that I think ooze a lot of charm, and nonetheless ones that you should add to the collection. For my next game I have The Order 1886. Very cool dark vampiristic story set in the 1800s. Now the thing with this game, the gripe that a lot of people have, its length and the fact that there's no sequel for this game, which is a bit of a shame. I would have really liked to see where the developers were coming on with the story, or even just the progression of the world, or even just the lore behind it. Unfortunately, it was panned by critics for the length, and I don't blame them for that. But nonetheless, an awesome game to collect and add to the to your PS4 library, and one that is also not too expensive. So yeah, that will be my next recommendation for the PlayStation 4. So for the third game I have here, Poison Control. I highlighted this game on my PlayStation 4 game collection video, being one of my favorites. The qualm with this game is unfortunately that it can get a little repetitive if you've been playing for an extended amount of time. The best way to thoroughly enjoy this game is to play it in short bursts, so about an hour or two for each and every playthrough. The story is also a little bit minimalistic, but a lot of the fun comes from the gameplay and the very awesome soundtrack. This is one of the best soundtracks that I've heard in a video game so far, and one that's nonetheless that I also have downloaded to my phone and even just played in my car as I'm driving. Very catchy and very memorable. Highly recommended a pickup. Okay, for my next game, Oninaki. Panned by critics for its very dark and gloomy atmosphere centering around death, religious hysteria and so forth. This is nonetheless one of the most memorable PlayStation 4 JRPGs I've played. So the story focuses on the protagonist basically helping to bridge those that have passed away and guiding them to the afterlife. But that said, a lot of critics were none too pleased with that, and it's one of the dark horses in the games lineup by Tokyo RPG Factory. A highly recommended game. The art style is very unique, and even just the premise, the tidbits and lore of the game make it nonetheless a very mesmerizing and awesome experience to delve upon. This comes highly recommended from myself, and don't let the critics sway you from playing a hidden gem that is Oninaki. Okay, for my fifth and final game for the PlayStation 4, that's an underrated gem, I'll mention Blue Fire by Roby Studios, one of my favorite indie games for the system. And the critics have panned this one for its difficult platforming, or even just its dark and gloomy atmosphere. That said, it is one that I recommend that you play. A very fun and unforgettable tale, one that you can easily complete within a week, that you can platinum. In fact, this is one of the few games that I've platinumed for the system, and one that I think is a little bit of a love letter to old school video games from the 2000s and the 2010s. It also had the decency to include like a booklet, a manual, or what I would say is the developer notes on the creation and the lore of the game, and one that I think is lacking by today's modern gaming world. Unfortunately, this is also a telltale sign. Normally, if these indie games have a manual or an art book, it just showed how much passion and love they had towards the project of their game making experience. One that I think is sorely lacking with AAA video games. So that is my fifth and final recommendation for the PlayStation 4. I'd like to hear what are some of your favorites. Be sure to let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to hear what underrated gem that you've enjoyed that is often panned by other gamers or other critics out there. I wish you all the best, and may you take care.